When a student steps on the campus of a university, the history of that university becomes their history.
Since 2012, the Atterbury Student Success Center has brought together many of UMKC's student services in one location. It is named for Alan and Mary Atterbury, longtime supporters of UMKC. But its origin stretches back much further. It started out as a student union called the University Center and was built in 1961. At the end of the 1950s and in the early 1960s, the University of Kansas City was in a dire financial situation. It was slowly going bankrupt. Yet at the same time, enrollment was increasing. There were so many students that the existing facilities were just bursting at the seams with students. And so it was decided to borrow $1 million from a federal program to build a modern student union for the campus. In 1961, the University Center was completed. It had plenty of lounge and study space for the students and a modern dining facility, and it greatly enhanced the student life on campus. However, the university really wanted to build an auditorium as well, but the money fell short for that. In stepped one of the members of the Board of Trustees, Elmer Pearson. Now, Elmer Pearson grew up here in Kansas City and was a graduate of the Kansas City School of Law in 1919. In the early 1930s, he was at a convenience store and he noticed a tub of ice filled with bottles of Coke. And there was a little cup there where you'd put in the nickel to pay for the Coke. And he asked the owner of the store, "Do people ever not pay?" And the owner said, "Yeah, all the time people will take a Coke without paying." So it got him thinking. And so he went home to his garage and tinkered around in his garage over the next couple of years and came up with a machine that would dispense bottles of Coke for money. And this was the first Coke vending machine. The machines were very popular, and his company that he founded was called Vendo, and it was situated in Kansas City's East Bottoms, and started making Coke vending machines that were very popular and became more advanced as time went on. He developed a technology where the machine could recognize the sound that different denominations of coins made as they were entered into the machine, and then dispense the bottle of Coke and the proper change. This technology was actually adopted by the United States Army during World War II because they would put it in the nose of planes and use those to search for submarines. Well, his company grew and became a major player in the vending machine industry here in the United States. And there were even restaurants filled with his Vendo vending machines. You'd walk into the restaurant, they were called Vendo mats, and the walls would be lined with vending machines, and you could get a sandwich or a salad or a slice of pie or whatever you wanted out of the vending machine, and then you would sit at tables in the center of the restaurant. There was even one of these Vendo mat restaurants here in the University Center, downstairs by the cafeteria. It was for generations where students would come and they would argue politics and solve the world's problems. Now, in 1961, he provided the money to build Pierson Auditorium, which is named after him. And Pierson Auditorium became a performance space, not just for the university, but for the entire city. So the conservatory orchestras would perform here, but also the Kansas City Philharmonic Orchestra performed here as well. And concerts were performed here, both sponsored by the university and by people who rented out the University Center to host their concert. So everybody from Count Basie to Ike and Tina Turner has performed in Pierson Auditorium. It was also our venue for speakers. And whenever we had a speaker come to campus that needed a large audience, Pierson Auditorium is where they would speak. And so we've had everybody imaginable, from Muhammad Ali to Kurt Vonnegut to Hillary Clinton, have all come to this university and spoken in Pierson Auditorium. As part of Mr. Pearson's gift to the university, he commissioned a giant mosaic to be on the wall outside the Pierson Auditorium. Now, this was the original entrance to Pierson Auditorium. And this entryway that we stand in now was built in 1988 as part of the expansion of the Swinney Recreation Center. But the original mosaic sat right here, and it was an abstract piece of art that nobody understood at first. But after a while, it became the beloved campus landmark, and people would always come to have their photos taken with it, and it was recognizable as one of the symbols of UMKC. However, when this entryway was built, it was covered up. And nobody at the university is still here from that time that remembers what happened to it. So we don't know if it still exists or it was destroyed or if it's still behind this wall. It's one of our campus mysteries.